At National Harbor at the winter meetings with Orioles Director of Player Development, Brian Graham. We always enjoy catching up with Brian. And Brian, here's a couple topics we want to get the latest on. And one is Hunter Harvey. He had the Tommy John surgery late last July. What's he doing? How's it going?
He's doing great. I actually spoke to him yesterday. He'll start his throwing program at 5 months. He's a little over 4 months at this point. In great shape, doing his weight training program, his conditioning program, and real soon he'll start throwing. So he's doing great.
So that would be maybe early next year, some light throwing?
I think at some point during the season he'll pitch, and if he could maybe at the end of the season be part of the Arizona Fall League, something like that, that'd be great. But he was throwing the ball as good as I've seen him pitch in a long time, just before he got injured. So I mean, it's in there. He's going to be special.
Yeah. You mentioned the Fall League, but would you hope it can progress fast enough to get into some games at some point in 2017?
I don't think that's that important, because the fact of the matter is, if he just pitched a couple games, that really doesn't create an advantage for him. Maybe the Fall League and then be ready for the next season. And, we're going to have a special pitcher when he gets healthy.
It's interesting. It seems to me he has a tremendous friend and role model in Dylan Bundy. Here's a kid who's been through this, knows the ups and downs of it, knows the time frame, knows the work you have to put in, and I would think that's a call Hunter might want to make.
Well, they talk. They talk frequently. I was with them in their presence when they were discussing it, and I think you're absolutely right. When you look at what Dave Walker, our training medical coordinator, did with Dylan Bundy to get him back healthy, and what he's doing with Hunter Harvey, Dave deserves a lot of credit. Dylan, phenomenal, coming back, and the timing that Buck used to get Dylan into the rotation, and just knowing that Hunter Harvey's on the same program gives you a lot of confidence.
Another guy who's on the Orioles 40-man roster, I know you guys like a lot, left-hander Chris Lee. He didn't pitch after late May. What's the latest?
He's doing great also. Conditioning program. I know he had a baby recently. He's in Tampa. He reports to Sarasota a few times a week. He's healthy. He has not started the throwing program. He'll start the throwing program later this month, but we anticipate he's going to be healthy and ready to go.
Awesome news. Now, the Orioles did lose Rick Peterson, Director of Pitching Development, has moved on, and so that's an opening in the organization. That's a pretty important opening. How far along are the Orioles with that?
Well, it's an ongoing process. It's late in the season. I'm not sure exactly what direction we're going, but we have really good pitching guys. When you look at Mike Griffin, and obviously Alan Mills moved on to the big leagues, but Kenny Steenser, Blaine Beatty, Justin Lord, we've got a great group. Wilson Alvarez, Dave Schmidt, Scotty McGregor. We've got so many guys to fill so many positions. We have a really good group of pitching guys. So regardless of what happens there, we're going to be in good shape.
When you and Dan and Buck talk about that position, what's important for you? What are you looking for in whoever takes that role?
It's a different position because it's not necessarily specifically a pitching coach. There's so much to it. There's so much to teaching and instructing from a pitching coordinator and making sure it's organized with the Major League pitching program, and everything from bullpen routines to throwing program routines to pitch limits. It's so all-encompassing, and it's not just one specific thing like a pitching coach does. So, again, let's wait and see what happens, and it's an exciting future for us.
Two guys I know, Brian, you had to be excited about in November, got added to the Orioles 40-man roster. I want to get your take on each. Jesus Lorenzo, hard-throwing reliever. We saw him advance to Bowie. How did he do this year? What does he feature?
You know what? Jesus Lorenzo, that's a great job by our Dominican Republic program, and they found him over there, and he came over here to the extended. Dave Schmidt and Wilson Alvarez did a great job with him. Hard-throwing right-hander, fastball slider, split-finger change, great makeup. Plus stuff. He's going to be an interesting kid. He's young. And then Joe Gunkel's the other guy that got added to the roster. And, Joe Gunkel's a touch and feel, command, throw strikes, get people out. He's a pitcher. He's the epitome of what a pitcher is.
Yeah. You had some tough calls on the 40-man, and now here comes the Rule 5, and you could lose some guys who were not protected. Do you have some concerns there?
Well, you always have concerns, but you never know, It's in the eye of the beholder, this is. And there's 29 other teams that look at our guys, and they may look at them differently than we do, or they may look at them the same. So it's going to be interesting.
A lot of interesting things going on, and Brian, always appreciate you taking time for us.
Well, thank you very much, Steve.
Brian Graham with us here at the winter meetings on MASNsports.com.